Hello and good day to you. You're once again welcome to MSN Construction, so we'll discuss all things engineering, architecture, and 3D modeling. Today we'll be learning in Protastructure how to design your ribbed and waffle slabs. Now, before further ado, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel for more contents like this, and don't forget to turn on your notification bell to be the first to see our latest tutorial videos on Protastructure and real-life construction works and documentaries. Thank you, and now let's get right into the video. We have this right here. As you can see, you have a typically designed roof slab here, and you have a typically designed waffle slab here, and these are simple structures with just the slab sitting on top of beams, and then you have the columns, and then you have the springs here, the foundation springs, as it's common with the Protastructure software to put foundation springs that imitate the behavior of a foundation before you design your foundation or story zero. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything right here and I'm going to delete it. Then we are going to start our design of roof slab first. From there we move on to the design. Yes, I'm deleting that. I'm going to select this as well. I'm deleting everything. Then I'm going to save the work, and then we have to introduce all our structural members, and then we design a rib slab. So what we are designing first here is a rib slab. And in order to design a rib slab, what you need to do first is to go to your modeling. Then you need columns, and we already have our general arrangement drawing here. So we just want a very simple structure, that we can work with to make our work very much easier. So I want the column to be something like, let's say, the width of the column, I want it to be something like, let's say, 300 by 300. Because sometimes for your roof slabs you need beams that have good depth enough to support your ribs, and in order to have such kind of beams you also need columns that will be able to get the loads that decompose the beams properly. So now we have our columns of 300 by 300, and you can go to your 3D and check it, and when we go to our 3D and check it, see that we have this. So we'll go back to our story plan. Then I want to add beams here, and the beams I'll be adding will be around 600. So the beams is actually, let's say it's 300. Let me do that. 300 for the width. Then the depth is going to be 600, as against the 450 conventional 450 that we have when you are designing for normal slabs. So now I'm going to just put the beams here, 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 and here. And so I can escape this and then close this. Then you see that we have a beam of 300 by 600, 300 by 600, 300 by 600, and when you go to your 3D you see that you have something like this, which looks cool. So now we can now add a slab on top of this. So, and in order to add a slab here, you see that we have these options here, and you see that we have ribbed slab here. So now you're not going to be adding this slab, but you're going to be adding ribbed slab here. So you click on ribbed slab, and then you insert at beam region, which is okay for me. We can insert at beam region, but before we insert it, there are options here. For a rib slab, what you're going to be going for is actually the standard. So, and then you have the width. So I want the width of my rib to be something around, let's say I want it to be something around 150. Then I can change this to be 400. Most of the time these are not just things you make up, they are things that you get based on the information. As a professional, you can actually just do your calculations, you don't just assume values, do your calculations. And also, if you have experience added to your technical knowledge, you can use that to evaluate what you need exactly for your width here and then your height here. I'll be explaining this once we get into the design. And also, this is actually the depth of your main slab. The depth of your main slab, which means that after you have your ribs, the height of the slab, what is left between the rib that composites the beam and then the layer of concrete that is above it. Let's just say the layer of concrete above it is this. So now we can make this one to be something like, let me just make it like 80, not 60, 80. Then this S block is actually the width of the block that you'll be using for these places that you are not putting ribs, those pieces are not actually acting as structural members for your structure. They are not load carrying members, really. They are not really load carrying members. So you can use different kind of materials for the blocks. You can use normal blocks, some use normal blocks, some use these red bricks. Now this S block, now the width of the block, let's assume you are using a concrete block, the width of the block is actually what this 400 means. So now we can actually now put this here, you can plug this here and see that you have the rib slab designed right here. So now let's properly touch this. Now from here to here is actually the S block. Then you have from the width of the rib is actually this right here. This is the width of the rib, and when you measure it, you see that it gives us 150 right here. As you can see, you have 150, which is the width of the rib. That's BW. Then you have the S block, which is this from here to here. That's 400. That's the S block. That's the space you are putting maybe a concrete block or a hollow concrete block or a filled concrete block, or a some people use also red bricks and all that. So this is the width, and it's actually the distance between these two ribs. So now to get the height of the slab, let's go into the 3D. Let me just escape this. So now this rib is probably stopping somewhere around here, somewhere around here, and the remainder of whatever is left, on top of the rib, that's sitting on the rib, is what is actually the slab, and it's designated the H slab, which means the depth of the slab on top of the rib, and that's what we give 80. So the slab is actually very thin, for 80 mm. So that's the H slab. Whereas the H that we have here, let's click on this rib again. This H that we have here is not really something that you can see right now until you have the beam sectioned, but I'll try to explain what it means there. Let me try to explain what it means. It means the depth of each rib. That's what it means, the depth of each rib. We have this one to be the width of each rib, which is 150. Now this is the depth of each rib, each rib that you have, and so you have that. So now we have this. You can also design the loads. So once they want it to be rooms, and see that you have the soffit here, so you have the rooms, and you can have an imposed load to be, let's assume that imposed load is 2, and you can just update that and then close here. So what is left for us to do now is to finish modeling this. So we can go back to our story 1. What we need to do now is to go and do an analysis on the rib. This is it for now on our tutorial on how to design rib slabs. We encourage you to subscribe to our channel for more contents like this, and don't forget to turn on your notification bell to be the first to see our latest tutorial videos on how to use Protastructure and real-life documentaries on construction works. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.